the messages are trying to get people who are still sitting on their couch in their pajamas going, oh yeah, I registered for that thing.
Come on down.
Come on down.
Come on down.
Coffee and pastries.
And free lunch.
You okay? Don't you say something?
Oh, of course, please.
I was too busy talking.
Let's ask you a question, then you have to stop it.
Oh, okay. No, I'll ask questions. Yeah, yeah.
All good. Come in, join in. Come and sit in front.
Screw in front.
Oh, you sit anywhere.
It's deciding which one to do.
I am recording mine, so if you want to go to another one and watch the recording later, you can do that.
You're doing it.
I'm doing this
Okay,
one.
very good.
When you
Okay,
pack,
well,
it's up to you.
I'll try that one first, yeah.
Yeah.
There's lots of good sessions today.
Yeah, this is lots. Yeah. You're going to be them all half an hour, so we've got to shuffle
Yeah.
and do more. Yeah.
Make sure the hall is empty and we will get started. Come on in, come on in.
Come on in. How are you, Sally? Yes, good. Sue. Yes.
How are you, Sue?
Very good. I tagged you in the post. Did you like it?
Oh, I haven't looked yet.
LinkedIn. Please check it. Yeah. If I mention someone, I want them to like the post.
Definitely, I will do it. We'll be talking after you.
Good.
You can bring food.
Yes, please bring in food. Sorry.
I'd use my outside voice.
Oh, good. Well
My
done.
skin.
Yes, Scarlett. Yep. I've been to 2 jamborees in Cameroon.
Oh, I've got cabaret coming up.
Oh,
Cabaret coming up
but only as a
in a few weeks' time.
But
Yeah.
I took kids out sailing on Sydney Harbour for 2 weeks, and I was
That'd be
the
awesome.
only person who did capsize.
Yes.
And as you know, kids are not accustomed to sailing.
These editions.
So I had to
Yeah.
provide very clear instructions.
Rightio. I think we'll get started, everyone. Welcome to our first breakout session. My name is Greg Lipschitz. I'm the Deputy Chair of Whitehorse Business Group, and again, welcome to our business forum this morning. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Sue Ellson. Sue is an expert in LinkedIn marketing and all things LinkedIn. Everything LinkedIn. If you haven't got one of Sue's books, make sure you also grab one of them. So please give a warm welcome to Sue. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you. Thank you, Greg. And I spent a lot of time on this presentation. But if you scan the QR code, which is on the slides and also at the front here, you will get the video recording as well as the slides. So you don't have to take notes. You're going to be getting everything, and then you'll be able to click on the links and access those really easily. So, the code, as I said, is here all throughout. I'm also more than happy to answer quick questions via email. So if there's something you don't feel comfortable asking in front of the group, that's perfectly fine. And if you want to interrupt me as I go through, that's perfectly okay too. And so, yes, AI was not used to prepare this content, okay? And that is actually really important, and I'll explain why as we go through. So for those of you who don't know me, my career started 6 days after my last Year 12 exam at Westpac in Adelaide. I worked in lots of different roles in the bank for 11 years before I moved to Melbourne. Some people joke I'm a refugee from Adelaide. And as a result of the difficulties I faced being an Australian moving to Melbourne, I set up newcomersnetwork.com in 2001. So I've been online for a very long time. I joined LinkedIn in 2003, and I'm on all the social media platforms, and I'm a member of these various associations, and I've written the 5 books. And again, if you scan the QR code, you will be able to get a link to download all 5 books for free. My gift to you. All of my presentations, I also include the links to my social media. So there's one on there that I started 9 years ago, which is Reddit, and I just did nothing with it. But I have found out that AI looks at Reddit, so that's why I've regurgitated my Reddit account recently. So obviously we're here today as guests of the Whitehorse Business Group, and I always recommend that you follow the organisations that you're a part of or that you support. So any organisations, your suppliers, whoever, make sure you follow them on all the channels. So I'm hoping after today there are a lot more Facebook followers, a lot more Instagram, LinkedIn page, YouTube followers, and if you would like to become a member of the Whitehorse Business Group, which of course is tax deductible, it's only $198 for the 12 months, and you also get a link on their website, and that is also very valuable. Now, because LinkedIn is my favourite platform, you can also visit the Whitehorse Business Group LinkedIn page and choose follow, and then you can click the little notification bell. And when you do that, what happens is you are more likely to see the Whitehorse Business Group posts in your news feed. So it's important, if you really like someone, to hit the notification bell as well, so you can sort of control the content you're receiving. So some of you may have recognised me from various other things that I do, and so I have done 4 other presentations for the Whitehorse Business Group, and just as this one is being recorded, you can check out those ones if you would like to watch those as well. And I run Camberwell Catch Up on the first Wednesday of the month. So the next one is on, oops, not 2nd of September, there's one in August. No, we had that. Yeah, 2nd of September. So this is held in Camberwell at My Other Brother Cafe, and people buy their own refreshment at 7:30 in the morning. 7:45 we go around the group, everybody introduces themselves and they share a tip. So our theme for the next one is actually AI. Then what I do is I add all those tips to my website with your LinkedIn URL, so it's free promotion for you. So if somebody Googles your name, then your comment that you made at the little networking event can appear in online search results. Also, if you'd like to do a deep dive into LinkedIn, it's only $29 to join me for 2 hours of training in the CBD on Saturday the 12th of September. So just a couple of things. Also, I always welcome feedback, so there's an evaluation you can complete. It takes about 10 hours for me to prepare things for events, plus the time I spent here today, plus the follow-up. So if you'd like to write reviews are a very good thing for you to do as a business. So don't just ask for reviews, think about who can you review. So who are your suppliers? Who are your collaborators? Who are your referral sources? Write them reviews. So this is just a prompt, not just to write a review for me, but to think about writing reviews for others. And there's, again, for the slides and the recording, you can scan that QR code at any time. So what I'd like to talk about today is what you've published online, your online strategy, your online real estate, the publishing process, some social media updates that I recommend everybody does, and that's why you're getting the slides, because there's a lot of detail here. And I'm going to show you some good practice examples, so you've got something you can say, right, I can employ that in my business, and then we'll open up to questions and answers. But again, if you've got a question as I'm going through, feel free to interrupt. So the number one thing that my clients tell me that has been of most value to them as a business owner is if they create a usernames and passwords list. Because let me assure you, one client I went to had 6 YouTube channels. Because every time they went to put a video up on YouTube, nobody knew the login, so they just created another YouTube account. And so for us to find all these random YouTube accounts created with different email addresses took 2 years. So please, for goodness sake, have a list of your passwords somewhere, so that if somebody else is going to be doing social media for you, you can give them the password. And then when they stop doing it, you can change the password, and then you've got it.
Just to comment on that, with spreadsheets,
Yep.
it's not actually very safe even protected, so we use password managers such as LastPass.
Yeah, and that's definitely an option for you. But what I always do with all social media accounts is I turn on 2-factor authentication. So that's the different backup, because what I found is a lot of times people forget to add it to the LastPass
But then how do you
thing.
get your staff to do 2-factor on your mobile phone?
create a mobile phone that's used just for the social media. So you have a separate phone and you have the authentication with the phone, and then
I have to physically see you because my staff are in the Philippines.
okay,
They
yeah.
can't get the
Yeah,
phone.
well, the Authenticator app is the other way as well. So, yeah, but good questions and good comments. There's only me doing my social media, so, you know, nobody gets access to my passwords. But the thing is, when I die, my daughter's going to have to sort through this mess. And let me assure you, there are so many accounts. Like, I can't even tell you how many there are on my spreadsheet. It's enormous. And she knows the code to my phone as well, because obviously, you know, she's going to need access to that. So we do have to prepare for the day we die, and I've also printed up my list and put it with my will to also tell her where to find the file on my computer. Because, you know, if she forgets the number or something goes wrong, then again, it's going to take forever to reissue the passwords. Most people have at least 70 logins. And there are now people called digital exhibitors because it's such a problem. So I know it's a really basic thing, but it's really important that you know your passwords. You know, you just got to do it. And don't, for goodness sake, do not use the same password for everything. Because if there is a data breach, then obviously you're going to be able to log into all of your accounts. So yeah, just a security thing. Now, the next thing I recommend that you do is Google yourself and Google yourself and Google yourself till you can Google yourself no more, and put all the links to where you have content published in a spreadsheet. Now, when I started my Google business account, I could put that into the back end of my Google business account and tell Google where I am. Sadly, they've turned that feature off. So what you need to do is make sure that that list is published somewhere on your website. Because the only thing that all the robots can access is your website. And you want the robots to come in and see where else you are published, because that establishes your authority. You don't want the robots to have to join the dots for you. You want to make it really easy for the robots to do that. Now, you don't have to put them all on the front page of your website. You know, it doesn't have to be that loud, but yeah, we do need you to list all those beautiful mentions that you have. So I'm Googling myself every 24 hours because I also write poetry, and my poetry gets re-quoted elsewhere, which I get really excited about. My domestic violence poems had over 20,000 views, which I think is kind of cool. And one of my poems, a composer in Chicago put music to it and is licensing it. And it's been part of arts projects and women's groups and church services, all sorts of amazing things, just because I publish content. So I am a huge advocate for publishing content, because you just never know what opportunities can come up as a result of that. So also, you can add anything that's relevant to your website and social media channels. And if you haven't already, I do recommend that you consider creating your own name website. So newcomersnetwork.com went online in 2001, but SueEllson.com went online in 2012. So even if I'm no longer part of my business, I still have SueEllson.com as an identity on the internet. So I'll never lose my identity no matter what happens in the future. But also, as the business owner, people are going to Google you, and then your own name website comes up. You can put whatever you like on it. But also, if you're looking for a senior leadership role, they're expecting you to have your own name website as well now. So not just a LinkedIn profile. Mind you, it took me 11 years to do it, so you don't have to do it in the next 11 minutes. But yeah, definitely consider creating your own name website. So, because I've been online for such a long time, I've seen a lot of things change. And so before COVID and before the world changed with so much AI integrated into everything we do, there was online search results. And the goal was for your business to appear in Google, Bing or Yahoo search results. And what the robots would do is they would come in, they would look at a website and they'd say, let's say it's got 20 pages. And they'd say, these 3 pages are good and those 17 are crap. So we're only going to take those top 3 pages and put them into the Google database. And so your results were basically scientific. There was some evaluation done to determine whether that content was good quality or not. And what the database would say is, every time it looked at your website, it would say, have you added any new content? And if you haven't added any new content, it would say, all right, we'll come back in a week. And it will say, have you added any new content? And there's nothing there. So it says, all right, I'll come back in 2 weeks. And if you haven't added any content, you basically never get search results. So, you know, that's the way it kind of worked. But also, content that's created by an author is more highly ranked than content that is created just by George Blogs. You know, nobody knows who George Blogs is. So if you have the ability to even create an ebook and you have it with an ISBN code, that identifies you as an author. Because every time that book is, when that book is published, all the chat engines and the search engines are indexing the content related to an ISBN number. So now, everything I write says by Sue Ellson because I have more authority simply because I'm an author. Okay, so that still helps, and it helped me in the Google days. And of course, AI wants both the question and the answer. It doesn't just want the answer. So we've got to think now, what are the questions people are putting into AI? Is there anybody in the room who only uses Google search without any AI results? There you go. You're all using AI, right? So, yeah. So what's the difference? What's social media? What's that? So if you've got a young person in your life and TikTok is their favourite platform and they've got a new puppy, where are they going to go for advice on their new puppy? TikTok, right? So we have to remember that social media is now a search engine. It's not just, you know, edutainment for the masses and addictive and all those other terrible things. But it is a megalomaniac. It wants more people more often for longer. So anything that you do as a business that keeps the people there, obviously they're going to reward that. Now I don't want you to just play the algorithm game. That's a waste of your life. You've got a business to run. We want you to be thinking about, you know, what is going to be most practical and useful for my business in that. Sadly, I believe the organic reach that we used to get has just vanished. It's a time-wasting vortex. The quality is deteriorating. Some of the video content, you can tell it's AI generated, and most of us don't like the AI generated content. But you do need to answer questions. So you've got to imagine your clients, what they're looking for, would that be it? Now, some of you may remember when Facebook came out. It was all about your friends, right? And you would see the content. But I was connected to my mother on Facebook and I never saw her content. And I thought, that's pretty crazy. Didn't really need to see my mother's content at the time, but that's another debate. But what happens now is the algorithms have decided it doesn't matter who we like. If we have shown an interest in puppies, that's what we're going to get more of, more interest, more details on puppies, okay? So what has changed with generative AI is the robots. They don't look at the 20-page website and say, I'm only picking 3. They take all 20 pages and they dump the whole lot of your website content into something called a data set. So the way the results come out of a data set is essentially probability. So the way I like to explain this is if I said to you, the cat sat on the, most of us would probably say, the mat, right? But as an author, we wouldn't just say it sat on the mat. We'd say it sat on the luxurious chair in the corner of the boudoir, you know, or something. We wouldn't just say the cat sat on the mat. And so obviously the cat could have been sitting on the roof, a chair, a bed, you know, any number of things. But what we end up with AI is the damn mat, you know, pretty damn boring, if you ask me. And so what we need to be able to do as business owners is we need to think, what do our clients want to know about and how often are we talking about that topic? Because if we don't talk about that topic all the time, the AI gets confused because, you know, the AI is already confused with me. It knows I'm LinkedIn on one hand and Poet on the other, so it doesn't know what the hell I am. But I'm determined to stay in both camps because the AI has to catch up to me. I'm not going to change for AI and just do LinkedIn and not do poetry. You know, I've decided this is something that's important to me. So what we need to do, because all of you are using AI to get your answers, is we want you to appear in search results. Now, I do appear in AI results. So if you're looking for a LinkedIn specialist or a LinkedIn speaker for a podcast, I do come up, you know, and that's how I've got gigs. So just want you to be thinking about social media in terms of this dynamic and the fact that AI can't see all of the social media posts, because it doesn't have an account at Facebook and at Instagram to go and look at your stuff, right? So it can't necessarily index it unless we tell it where we were on social media. So we've got a link to our social media posts so that the robots, when they look at our website and go scraping all that data, they can add it to their data set. Is that making sense? Yeah? Not too complicated? All right, so why is this important? Well, this article from SEMrush, now they're people who do search engine optimization, they have said that the top domains cited by the generative AI large language models like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Google, Claude, whatever, are Reddit, LinkedIn, I'm having trouble reading that, Wikipedia, YouTube, Medium, Facebook, yeah, so on and so forth, right? So, of course we have to be on social media, you know, because the robots are looking at it and they're trying to determine, are we providing content that is relevant? And if we are, you know, and it's on these channels, then that is going to help us. So where does this leave you as the business owner? How do you make the decision of where to spend your time and what on earth are you going to do? Well, in my mind, the number one place to publish is your website, because those robots can see everything on your website, unless you block it because you've got some phobia about copyright. But, you know, I don't care about copyright, I just want to be found, okay? So if you put it on your website, that's the only thing you own. I believe the essential social media channels are LinkedIn, Facebook and YouTube. And you might say, oh no, but Instagram's better for me. And I'd say, well, a lot of people are still on Facebook, even though they won't admit it, because they use it for chat and other things. But the reason we need to be on Facebook is you need Facebook reviews. Because if somebody is using Bing, it's not going to show Google reviews. It's only going to show Facebook reviews. Now, here's another complicating factor. LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft. Microsoft owns 27% of OpenAI, which is ChatGPT. So they're not going to show you ChatGPT, it's not going to show you Google results, it's going to show you Bing results. So that's why we need to have our Bing presence happening. So you need to be on bingplaces.com and you need to have Facebook reviews. Making sense? Still get the Google reviews, I'm not saying don't get them. Now, the video channel that I recommend is YouTube. Guess who owns YouTube? Google. So why would you only put your videos on TikTok? Like crazy. You need to put your videos on YouTube first, and then wherever else you put it, go for it. But in my mind, you need to be on YouTube. Now, your optional social media, Instagram, obviously, if that's where your audience is. Pinterest, if you've got an image-based product business, very, very helpful for that. It will get you Google search results very quickly. If you've got images, products, Pinterest. Reddit, because it's number one in the AI robots. Substack, there's a lot of people doing more content on Substack, particularly if they're writers. I've created a profile that's led to nothing so far, so I'm not a huge advocate, but you know, if you want to do it, you can. And of course TikTok, again, if you think your audience is there. My personal observation of TikTok is I end up with all these random people from foreign countries who are not going to buy my LinkedIn services. So I'm not a huge fan, but I do put exactly the same video I put on YouTube onto TikTok, onto Instagram, onto Facebook, onto LinkedIn. I just put the same video on all the channels. I don't worry about, oh, this can't go on Facebook because it's really Instagram. No, I just put it on all of them. Now, obviously, if you become a member of the Whitehorse Business Group, you'll be able to have a directory listing on their website. So that's one. You need to have a Google Business profile up to date, your Bing Places up to date, and any other membership listings. You may have paid, like Reacher and I are members of the Career Development Association of Australia, and they give us a profile page. So if you've paid the membership, for goodness sake, fill out the profile page and make sure it's got your details on there. Obviously, if you're on any other websites that are high domain authority, so if you can get on the council website. So I said to you earlier, I run these Camberwell catch-up events, and that's in the city of Berendara. And because they're free events, I'm on the council website. Like, how cool is that? So I'm super, that's a high domain authority, that's really important. And I've got lots of people coming to my networking events because I'm on the City of Berendara website, as well as Eventbrite. And of course I've got a lot of media because I'm easily found by time-poor journalists. So I've appeared on Channel 9's Today Extra, national television, 21 times until I said no more, I get too stressed by it. I'm on 3AW radio about every month. And I've been quoted in the Daily Mail newspaper. And I know most of you are going to go to the Daily Mail, but that's how the producer at Channel 9 found me. And the AI wants to see earned media, because if you've got earned media, you are much more credible than just somebody who's got a basic website. So again, that's helpful to you. Reviews on Google, Facebook, and on your website. So I've got a plugin on my website, so if I get a nice email from any one of you lovely people, I will not say, oh hi, can I please put that on my website? I'll just say, participant from the Whitehorse Business Group Business Forum, and then I'll copy paste your content into a review on my website, and I'll respond to it. So then, boom, I've got another review written by somebody else. And that's another source that the robots can see that I'm verifiable. We want to be verifiable. That's our goal here. And the last website is archive.org, because when I die, I've talked about that twice now. I don't plan to die. Like, my grandmother made it to 98, so I'm going for 100. I copy paste a link to everything I've had published to archive.org. Because when my website is deleted, there'll be no record that I even existed, but it will still be on archive.org. But the beauty of that is, if I get media and then the media deletes it off their website, I can then link to the archive.org version and prove that I really did have that piece of content online. So it doesn't index everything, but at least it's, a pretty good record, so that when my great-great-grandchild decides they want to know who I was, there's plenty there, okay? So what's my publishing process? Basically, I get stuff published all the time, and I add it to my list of publications because, that's going to help me. And if you don't have publications, I don't want you to think it's impossible. It's not. So, this is just my process. And then what I do is I share the link in social media, and then I add that to my website where I shared it, and then I copy paste the link to archive.org, and then I put all the links on my website. So we'll see if this works. Hopefully it will. And here is my blog. And I'll show you the last Camberwell catch-up. So this is the blog post that I write up. There's the group of people that were at the one in August. And here's the little links and so on. And I always write by Sue Ellson, so that gives me that authority as an author. And there's little headings, and then there's another picture, and all the images are labelled, and there's the feedback I got, and a nice review from Yvonne, and join me at the next events, because I was trying to promote those. But down here are the links to the actual social media posts. So I'm educating the robots to say, look at me, I'm over here. And this is proof that I am who I say I am, okay? So I'm educating the robots. So every post that you do on social media, there's a timestamp or there's 3 dots, and you copy the link. So that's just the link to those posts. So if we click on this link to the LinkedIn profile one, it will show you the post that I put on LinkedIn. So, and then I've mentioned the people again, so that's more promotion for them. And I've had 32 reactions, 647 impressions, and that only went out this week. So, you know, you can see I'm just creating this cycle of always, you know, connecting and educating the stupid robots to find my stuff. Because, you know, they're dumb. They don't join the dots yet. They will, but not yet. So whilst they're still learning, I just keep educating the robots and saying, here's where I am, here's where I am. How are we going? All good? All right. Back into the slides. Yep. Yep.
I've seen it on, but I don't want
To be honest, I don't know. I just created an account. It's where a lot of nerdy people go, and they, you know, they think they're experts and they talk about all stuff.
So is that the forum?
People
Yes.
post a question and
Post a question.
other people will
Oh,
jump
so
in
like
with
an open
and
forum.
Yes, for Q&A.
Yeah, Q&As.
I'm
Yeah.
finding the quality of content on Reddit is actually quite poor because there's only a subset of people that's actually in there. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like the majority.
But clearly what the difference is the robots can index it, where the other platforms it's not indexable content.
Yeah,
So
because
that's
it's got
why the
a lot of
robots,
written content, so it's easy for the robots.
yeah, so it's easy for the robots to scrape it. So that's why everything I publish on, you know, my LinkedIn, I'll then, well, I didn't do the post for today, but I'll add it to Reddit as well, because that way I can hopefully get the robots to see it.
How do you find time to do all this? Because as a business owner, we have
I don't have a partner, I don't have children at home, and you know, I'm fascinated by educating people.
And
You know,
has
it's
this
my
always been
passion.
your passion, or have you been trained in this field? Or is this-
I've learnt it by lived experience, and because I do so many presentations, I've done well over 1,000 presentations. Every time I do a presentation, I dig deeper because I have to be smarter than the person in the room. So I just keep learning, and I find research, and I subscribe to newsletters, and you know. But that's what you do as an educator. Like, you have to be across these things. I'm not expecting you as a business owner to be across this. All I want you to do from today is say, the only thing I own is my website. That's what I want you to remember. It's the only thing you own. And everything else is borrowed. But if you can publish in these other locations, then it can bring people to your website. And it helps maintain the relationship. Because, you know, you didn't wake up this morning and think, I'd like to visit Sue Ellson's website today, did you? You know, like, that wasn't your first thought. So yeah. So I did a presentation at the beginning of the year for the Australian Institute of Company Directors to help them, you know, as a future company director, create their own LinkedIn profile. So this is an article. I cannot reproduce that article on my website because even though I'm quoted, it's their content, but I can link to it. So here's what I did. I just listed it as a link in my list of publications, and I still show you the social media links. So, yeah.
Do you do this for living or do you provide services to other business owners as well?
I do provide services to other business owners and educate them and help them set up their LinkedIn profiles and basic websites and yeah, all sorts of bits and bobs. Yeah.
We just found ourselves for no time, absolutely no time.
Absolutely. But as the business owner, you are making the buying decision as to what gets done. So you need to understand what is worth doing and what is worth paying for. And if what somebody is suggesting to you does not deliver a result, then you shouldn't be doing it. And you should be saying, there's no point spending hours and hours of our lives putting everything on Instagram and having it nowhere else. Because I've had business owners lose access to their account, and then all that data, stories, imagery, all gone. And they can't get it back.
We just got pitched by SEO companies from time to time. We don't even tell who's good, who's who.
That's right, that's right. So if you understand as a business owner that the only way you're going to get more traffic is if you keep adding content, the SEO person can't do that. Unless, you know, you've given them license to do it. But you're the expert, and I'd rather you put 300 words together and get your AI agent or your employee to put it on the website, share it through the socials and go back to business. That's what I'd rather you be able to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. So would you have a separate person or company having all your account links set up? So you just
In theory, yeah. And then you outsource that.
How often should you do that? So you still.
Yep. I mentioned that in the slides. You can do it as little as once a month. Particularly, if you're just a small business as an acupuncturist, right? You don't have to be there 7 times a day, as Gary Vaynerchuk would say. I aim for at least once a week, and the maximum I do is 3 times a week. Yeah. But you'll get a social media person who says, "Oh, we need to be posting 3 times a day," and and I'm saying no. Yeah.
That's a good question, because I work as a real estate agent, which is one of the most hated professions.
Yes.
And
I know that feeling. Yeah.
And my husband doesn't like my face on social media,
Uh-huh.
and it's obviously a problem. So I just wanted to know, if we were to use AI content on social media, would you?
I don't recommend it. Okay, and I'll tell you why in the slide in a minute. All right, I am going to try and get through the slides so that you definitely get that stuff, because there's a lot of juicy bits in here. I do recommend when you get back to your desk that you log into your account and you check your social media profiles on a laptop or desktop and your mobile phone, because what you can fill in the boxes is different. So Instagram on the phone is different to Instagram on your computer. So you need to fill in all the boxes. And if you've got to put a link in there, don't hand type it. Always visit the website, copy the link, paste it in. Because sometimes you can type it wrong and then the links don't work and then the robots can't find you. Okay? Also, all of the platforms allow you to download your data, and I recommend you do that at least every 6 months. Again, in the unlikely event you lose access to your account. New boxes are always being added to all of the platforms all the time. So about every 6 months, you go in there and you check those and you make sure they're all filled in. And obviously you've only got one YouTube channel, one Facebook page, one LinkedIn profile, one LinkedIn page, and so on. If you are a busy business owner, then ideally I would suggest you have 3 administrators of your company pages, so that if somebody's away, if somebody's sick, somebody else can still, fix a disaster if it occurs. And remember to remove access for people who no longer work for you, because you don't want them, kiboshing your business. So always have that procedure in place if you're replacing someone to change it. And also make sure you've added access for the current people so that they can do their work. And as I said earlier, have a separate phone for the social media. It is a security risk if you leave your passwords with someone, so that's why you've got to have that ability to be able to change them. And the reason I like having a separate phone, I do a lot of work with schools, and you don't want pictures of students on someone's private phone. So again, this is why if you have a separate phone for the social media, then it can all be on that one device. Now, so many websites I visit do not have the links to all the social media on their profile. And the one that seems to be missing the most is the link to their YouTube channel. And of course, Google owns YouTube, so why wouldn't you, those little icons, have your YouTube link down there? And also, a lot of people have had their website built, it's gone live, but then they don't check anything. So it's crazy the number of times I visit a website and I click on the icons and there's no social media link there at all. So please go back and check your website and make sure those links do work. You can also now, if you log into your Google Business account, you can copy paste all your social media links. So that means when your Google Business profile comes up, all the socials are there. And again, you're telling the robots, here's where I am, here's where I am, here's where I am. So fill in that. And then Bing, you can go to bingplaces.com, you can create a Bing listing. Again, you can copy paste your social media links in there. So again, you're educating the robots, here's where I am. Next, your website analytics. Now, back in the day, there was a client of mine who was paying for Yellow Pages advertisements. And I think, anyway, so what's the point of that? And she was getting like 3 visits a month. So why on earth would you be paying for that wretched ad? So likewise, if most of your traffic is coming from your favourite friend who you get referrals from, you should be saying thank you to that person, not just assuming I've got to do more social media. So, you know, have a look and thank the people who really do help you. And think about how much business is being generated by social media. If you're spending an hour a day doing a post a day and it's not generating any traffic to your website, why the hell are you doing it? You know, it's a waste of time. And if you're on Instagram and you've got products, can people buy it immediately? Because, you know, a lot of people want to be able to buy it straight away, so you might need some help to set those kind of things up. And what content is actually driving action or interest? Because, you know, we get sucked into thinking we've got to do this, we've got to do that, but is it helping the business? Greg? 5 minutes? Oh my God. Okay. Rethink your engagement strategy. So the platforms want you to encourage people to stay there longer. So make sure you are liking other people's stuff and adding comments to other people's stuff, not just posting and ghosting. Subscribe if you want to tailor your newsfeed. On LinkedIn, you can endorse people for their skills and write recommendations for them, and that lets them know that you've done it. So that can be really, really helpful as well. Now, if you're going to write Google reviews, if you join Local Guides Connect, you start earning points and your reviews show at the top of the list. So it's well worth signing up for that. It's free. Also, rethink your content strategy. Quality is better than quantity. You must declare any content that has been created by AI now, because the EU has brought in the EU Act, and if you don't declare it, they can prosecute. So please be careful. Your goal is to be authentic, but please don't start crying like a CEO did on LinkedIn. It was a disaster. You know, keep it professional. I recommend friendly, professional and solution focused. And yeah, make sure that everything is aligned with your brand. This is the article that says you've got to declare if you've created it with AI. You have to. Okay, it's not a negotiable. Since the 2nd of August, this is rules.
Just on that word creation, if you put in an idea, get a bit of a prompt, but then you adjust it and write it, is that, do you have to declare?
Well, you get to choose that. I can't advise you on that.
The AI bit is mostly just go and do it.
I know, but yeah, I just think be transparent, you know, and if you say, AI, help me with this, say AI helped you, you know. Like, well, I don't know that the EU is checking your emails, but you know, anything that's online, you've kind of got to do. Now, the other thing is you want to keep yourself in circulation. So don't just do a whole bunch of social and then disappear for a month. That's not going to help you. Try and be, you know, on a regular basis. Short form portrait video is doing well. And if you start using new features early, that can sometimes help you go well. And going viral does not mean that you will get business. Also, think about what you're reporting on. So if you've hired an SEO company and they give you beautiful charts with lots of graphs, but it's not leading to business, why are you paying money? You know, and I asked one of my clients to check in, and what they were doing for them would have taken about 2 minutes, and they were paying $1,100 a month. So, you know, you've got to understand what you're paying for. Also, have you set yourself some KPIs? Are you increasing your followers? Are you inviting people to follow you? Are you asking for reviews? A lot of statistics are real time only. So, what I've got in the slides, which you can review in your own time, are some good practice examples. So, this is a new video that Mark and crew have put out of a short form video, and you can check on that link, and you know, it's done quite well. This is another one where they've used the same video, but they've put it on Instagram. So again, they've used different handles because people on Instagram are different to the one on Facebook, but they've mentioned those people. This was a lovely Women in Business event that the Whitehorse Business Group ran, and amazing quality photographs. You know, good quality photos can make such a difference, and the robots love images they have not seen before that were not AI generated. So, you know, be prepared to pay for a photographer to give you 500 photos that you can use from now on. You know, it's well worth it because it loves new stuff. The Business Forum link. This was a really good practice example, but unfortunately the people that mentioned didn't respond. So if you don't respond to an @mention, it's going to kill the post. So if somebody's gone to the trouble without mentioning you, be courteous and like the damn post, you know, because it's going to help them do it. This is a video of mine that has had 4,964,000 impressions because I let the LinkedIn editors know, and then they let the LinkedIn video editors know, and off it went. Guess how much business I got from this 5 million view post? Zero. Absolutely. So this is why I'm saying it's not about going viral. It's about showing up on a regular basis so people know that you're still kicking, right? And you're not dead. Also, LinkedIn favours LinkedIn articles, which are lifetime content. So even though I wrote this particular LinkedIn post 4 years ago, it's my best performing, and I've got 7,000 views in the last year on that post from 4 years ago because it's a LinkedIn article. So yeah, they do very long term. So what do I suggest you do from here? Check out the slides, follow the steps, you know, they're all written down for you. If you've got quick questions, I'm more than happy to answer them via email. Join me at Camel or Catch Up or LinkedIn for me, the workshop with maximum of 10 people. And my consulting is available, and you can write reviews. And I'm here for the rest of the day, so, you know, come and see me anytime. Better stop there.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Sue Ellson. Sue, on behalf of the Whitehorse Business Group, thank you very much for giving up your Sunday. Little something of appreciation from us to you. It's for Tobin Brothers Funerals because you spoke about death so much. So I thought we'll get you a voucher for your funeral, and when the time comes, you'll remember us, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, Sue Ellson, thank you. We're going to be changing rooms now. It's AI, I believe, in this room. We've got a finance session and a